We're going to experiment with some features of Microsoft Word, and I hope you'll try a lot more of these options later on your own. So I've opened a file that has some directions for us and some paragraphs of text. So in paragraph 1, I'm going to follow the directions entered here, and it says we're going to increase the margin, and then we're going to insert a text box with a couple equations. So I can click and drag to highlight that paragraph, or I can do a single click to get a cursor in there. If I double click, I select a word, and if I select a few times quickly, then it will select an entire paragraph. So let me do that one more time. Select, just click a few times and it'll highlight the entire paragraph. And then I want to increase the right margin, so I'm going to click and drag the right margin, and it doesn't matter where, you can change your mind about that later and drag it again. And over here then I want to insert a text box, and when I go to the Insert tab and find Text Box, there are some pre-formatted styles of text box, but we usually just want to choose Draw Text Box and format it ourselves. So a text box will normally have a border. You could take the border away, and it can be filled with different colors and have different kinds of outlines. It can have shadow effects and so on. I could type any kind of text that I want into the text box. I could drag it around and place it somewhere else if it's in front of the text. But I'm going to keep it over here, and I don't want text in there. I want to experiment with the equation editor. So I'm going to go back to the Insert tab, and I'm going to choose Equation, and then we get all different sorts of templates for objects, and we're directed that one equation can be anything you want, but we want you to use stacked fractions. So if I click each of these pull-down menus, you'll see that there's lots of different choices of styles of fractions. Stacked means the numerator on top of the denominator. So I want to choose this basic template and put whatever you want to in there. I'll put an algebra equation. How about 2x over 3 for that fraction? And then I'll click behind that fraction and hit maybe a plus sign. And then I'll do another fraction, and I want the same stacked fraction. Oh, and let's say we've got 5x over 3, so we've got a common denominator, so we know that we could hit an equal sign. And now I'm outside my equation, so I want to stay back inside that equation editor. So let me make sure my equal sign is inside the same equation instead of two separate equations. And go back to my equation tools, and I need a stacked fraction again. So that adds up to 7x over 3. So I just click in each shape, and if I click outside, that completes that equation. And then I'm just hit an Enter key. And now I'm going to insert another equation just so you see more of those features, and you can see how you can get parentheses and brackets in these templates. You have all sorts of, this is an integral from calculus, trig symbols. Square root is what we want to practice with. So, let's solve a Pythagorean theorem. So we know c is equal to, and here's where I get the square root symbol. And I can choose, this would be if I wanted to do a third root, but I want a square root, so I'll just choose this one. And what do I want under that radical? I want to have an a squared plus a b squared. So I can see this is the script templates. I want to have an a and a second power. And oops, my 2 is outside that box there, so I'm going to just backspace. Oh, and I backspaced the wrong way there, so let me start over again. I'm going to try that one more time. I'm going to get this template, and I'm going to do an A, and then I want to make sure I've got highlighted that exponent before I hit a 2, and then I can just arrow behind that and a plus sign, and then I can go get another one. And I want in the box here a B, and in the exponent I want a 2. So you could experiment with the equation editor. My text box, then I can make my border fit better around the equations. I can select that text box and make it fit more nicely. Then I could go back and change my margins here for this paragraph. Now we're going to, with the next objects, instead of deciding on changing the margin ourselves, we're going to use the text wrap feature and let the program decide where to put the text. Okay, in our next paragraph, we're going to experiment with word art, and I'm just going to click anywhere. It says one of them should be in line with the text, so I'm just going to put my cursor in that paragraph and hit insert. And word art, when I do the pull down menu, I have some built-in choices of word art, and you can change this to other colors later, but let's just pick a style here. And right now it's not in line. It is on top of the text. I can see this if I look at the wrap text. It's in front of the text, and I want to do that to the next one, but this one I wanted to be in line with the text. So you could put whatever you wanted to here. So we'll put just the word experiment, and we can go to the home screen and change the size of that word art. We can lower it, we can make it wrap around if it's a sentence, but it is right now in line with the text. So once we have the object where we want, notice if I type some characters that is traveling with the text. And then we wanted to insert another piece of word art, and this time we'll leave it. Pick whatever you want to experiment with here. Let's maybe do green. And this one, your computer might be set differently, by the way, but this one defaulted to wrapping the text in front of the text, and that's what I wanted. And we want this one. We notice we can rotate the object. So for example, a typical reason you might do that is to say this is just a draft of my paper, and I'm going to make that even larger. I can do the Control Shift greater than, remember, to make characters larger rather than using the menu. And then I wanted to make that transparent, and that is in the I have to remember where that is. That to make it transparent, we can go to the fill, and here's a choice for transparent. That's one place. And then when we hit OK, you can see what that should do. Oh, that was my background that it made transparent. So I didn't actually want a text fill. So you'll see that shape fill, that's what I did a minute ago. I want no fill. So it's actually the text that I wanted to be transparent. So I need to find, I want to change the text, not the shape of the text. I want to change the text. So I'm going to use this little pull down menu and get all my options for my text box. And I think it is in this text fill where I see transparency. So you probably, like me, are never going to memorize where all of these options are. You sometimes have to search around to find them. So I'm going to make this transparent, and you'll see with that light color that's very transparent. If I change it to a different color, then you might see a little more there. So maybe I made it too transparent. Let's go back to that same box. Let's do a little bit less transparency. So you could still read through it, is what the transparency does. All right, let's see if we can move a little quicker here. Paragraph 3, I want to use smart art. Once you try some smart art, I think you'll have a lot of fun with this. So anywhere in paragraph 3, I'm going to choose insert, and I'm going to pick smart art. And I can, you can look around through all of these interesting shapes and you'll have a lot of fun playing with these. I'm going to pick one to show you some interesting. Let's choose this smart object, a vertical curved list, and it comes into a default size and a default one single color. I'm going to go to change colors right away and have a little bit more fun with this. So I'm going to change to those colors, and here's how Smart Art works. We can see, and it's going to run out of my window here, so I'm going to pull this over a little bit so you can see it inside my video. So let me close this again and show you how I got that. These two arrows, so if I pull this over, it gives you a place where you can type the text. You could type it right over here, but watch what happens when I type here. So this might be quotation 1, and of course you could put whatever you wanted to in here, and quotation 2, and quotation 3, and if I don't want to see that text list, I can close that up. And then these, let me show you again, I closed that too quickly. It reminds you down here, if you forget how to do some of this, it says use this for a curved list of information, and to add pictures, to the accent circles, apply a picture fill. So this circle, I'm going to go to the Smart Art tools and change back to format so I can get this shape fill. And where picture fill is instead of filling with a color, I want to fill with a picture. So I'm going to click fill picture, and I'm going to go to desktop. I put a few pictures there. There's a picture for that choice, and I go back to shape fill picture, and you could browse and get these from anywhere. This just happened to be a file. I knew I had some family pictures that I was using recently, but you could get them from any place in your directory. And there's my mom and dad, and we'll put my mom and dad in there for quotation 3. So you can see that, and then I can click this close, and I'm just going to drag my Word file back here, and now that fills up the entire width of the page, but I can click its corner and resize it. So I'm going to make that whatever size we want, but here we have one more check here. We wanted to figure out how we could wrap the text around all 4 sides. So we want this in the middle of the paragraph, so I'm just going to click on it and drag it over a bit if I can grab it. Oh, and it's because I have it wrapped right now. So let's go back to our wrap of text, and I'm looking for this arrange pull down menu. So I want to put this with text wrapped squarely around it, and then let's see if we can drag it over to the middle, and you'll see how that would work. And if I make it even smaller, you'll see more text get wrapped around it. As I drag the object, the text will change, but wrapping the text around all 4 sides. All right, let's move on to paragraph 4. We're getting kind of long here with this video. Paragraph 4 is to insert an original chart or graph, and I think what I'm actually going to do is stop this video and finish paragraph 4 and 5 in the next video.